I've worked with people, have consultations where I bring they tell me like what's going on, and I look at it from a German new medicine perspective, and then I bring something up that German new medicine would pinpoint to their ailment or whatever, and they're like, "Wait, what? Yeah, that totally is that happened or whatever."
Wow.
And so I don't know. It's just something I've observed, and I've been able to help a few people like really work past some major things that they've been dealing with for like a long time, and then bringing up that one thing that might be the emotional connection, and then they're like, "Whoa, I've never thought of that before, but that is totally what's going on," and then it ends up kind of just spiraling from there. So
Amazing.
very interesting.
The name of the book your friend wrote, what is it called?
His book is called Hammer, because the guy's name who came up with this whole method, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Hammer. And so I can send you links and stuff after this. But another really great source, and she's very active on social media. She has a Telegram too. Her name is Melissa Sell, and she is a German new medicine practitioner. And so she has some, and a lot of this stuff comes down to personal responsibility as well, which is another thing that a lot of people don't like taking on. And so it's like
non-victimy.
Exactly. And so if you're going to go down the German new medicine route, guess what? You're going to have to take responsibility for a lot of the choices you've made, maybe things that have happened in your life. You're going to have to take the responsibility of actually going inward and analyzing some of these things that might be causing issues. How do your emotions work? What are your patterns? Like, these are all the hard questions that you have to ask yourself if you're going to go down that route, which is why I think a lot of people just choose allopathy, because it's a little bit more of a simpler way to go, but actually it complicates things beyond.
It masks the problem. It's masking the symptom. It's lying to yourself.
Yep.
It's lying to your body and to everyone else.
Yeah, German new medicine's way better than German old medicine, where they would just blame the Jews.
Yeah, and that can get hairy too.
I'll be here all week.
Yeah, the name on German new medicine is I agree. I think I need to like come up with a new name, because sometimes I'm like, even just saying it, people are like, wait, what is it? And then I'm like,
listen, we just kill a bunch of Jews and we're fine. Just kidding, you two. It's a comedy show. I'm a comedian.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's funny. Thanks. But yeah, I encourage people to look into it if they're open to thinking that that could be the case.
Yeah, I love that, because like we were saying, what I see in allopathic medicine is just treating symptoms and looking for an easy way out. They don't even ask. Well, they might now, but when I used to go to the doctor, like, they wouldn't even ask me what you're eating. You go for a checkup and they're not even asking you about your diet. It's like, what?
It's crazy, because it reminds me of when I was in college and I was breaking out with acne, and I'm just like, but this didn't happen before. So something's different, right? So I went to a doctor, a dermatologist, thinking that, they would know. And they're like, oh, it's the bacteria on your skin. You need to be washing your face. Don't touch your face. Do this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, but what am I eating? And they're like, huh? They didn't even, I'm like, no, what am I eating that is doing this? I feel like it's a food thing. And they're like, oh, well, some people say that drinking, some studies have shown that drinking skim milk can cause, and I'm just like, skim milk, really? It was just bizarre to me. And it's like, I intuitively knew it was something probably food related, right? I mean, it was probably a lot of other things too, but I had a feeling it was food related, right? And I'm just like, these people don't know. That's what began my disillusionment, if that's a word, with modern medicine. It started there. It started, in college, when they couldn't answer simple freaking questions.
Yep. And it's commonplace right there. That situation you were in is so common for people. And then at least you had the know-with-all to trust yourself, though, to be like, wait, but I know that this is this is probably what's going on. And most people would just be like, okay, well, doctor said so. Doctor said it's skim milk. So I guess, whatever, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think these little situations that we find ourselves in are seriously little gifts, and little, like little skeleton keys to open these doors. And it's whether or not you choose to open it or whatever is on you. And so, yeah, that's interesting. I kind of had the same situation in college where I did break out in like high school, but it was like in college where it was like really bad, where I was just like, whoa, what is going on here? And I mean, I know that there's like hormonal things too, but I think stress, like obviously it was like I think played a really big factor in it. But it's just funny. And then how in society too, like especially for women, like when you have acne or whatever, then there's the blemish stick with the concealer and just cover it all up, and like it makes it so much worse, and then it even looks worse. And like when you like stand back in hindsight, it's like, yeah, okay, you had pimples on your face or whatever, and for me, I was so self-conscious about it. So then you're always thinking about it, and you're thinking everybody else is thinking about it, and they're actually thinking about the shit they have to do, and they don't care about your pimple on your face or whatever. It's just this whole like slippery slope of stuff that happens. And so anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah, all of this topic of like trauma and emotions that trigger this dis-ease in the body, and the topic of death and all that is totally synced, because I'm currently like reading books, listening to audios about this sort of thing right now, just because it's just like in my realm right now to be looking into this for whatever reason. And like I was listening to Ram Dass, what is it, Brandon? Love Devotion, and something, it's about the Bhagavad
the
Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, it's
service
that,
and devotion or something.
Love, service, and devotion audio. It's not an audio book because they were lectures, but it's an audio lecture of Ram Dass. And I started chapter 9 like I've had this book for months. Brandon told me about it. I got the audio book, and it's probably been a good year, and I haven't gone through the whole book, because it's like, I don't know how many hours long, but I found myself in chapter 9 some days ago, and it was about death and how people approach it, and how people see it. And it was just it's crazy because it's so timely, all this discussion. And I think it triggered some things in me. Cody and I got to talk about it because I told him to listen to that section too. And Cody's my boyfriend, if you didn't know. And we got to talk about those things. I think it brought up some emotion. It was a full moon. I found myself like letting go of some emotions, like crying the last few days. And last night I woke up in the middle of the night with like menstrual pain, like on my lower back and like the abdomen area. And it's been so long since that happened. And I was like, I'm just like, what emotion am I not letting go? What do I need to do? Like, because this hasn't happened in so long. Like I've had pretty, pain, not super painless, but just sometimes I get lower back discomfort, but it's not like pain. This was like pain, and it just wouldn't go away. And I was like, so I listened to an activation by, or it was like a pain thing by Eileen McCusick. And then I listened to like a Reiki ASMR session, and that really helped too. I was trying to do some breathing, but it was hard. Like I was just like, I'm just like not even breathing right. Like I can't even focus on breathing. And it's funny because this is all really synced right now.
Just take some Tylenol, Sharon. This show is brought to you by Tylenol. If you really hate your liver, eat more Tylenol.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is like growing up, when these things would happen to me, because I grew up with having like painful menstrual cycle, not super ridiculous, but like enough that I was like, I need to take something sometimes. But I would mostly just deal with it because I didn't like to, I wasn't one to like reach for like the painkiller. I just, even back before I was like more on natural stuff, I kind of was always that way in some ways. Like I was just like, it didn't dawn on me to like reach for something like that unless it was so bad. And,
Right.
every once in a while it got bad. But, yeah, I didn't even think of that last night at all. I was like, let me take some CBD. I have like a CBD bar that like a friend made for me. And it has like the camphor type stuff. And I rubbed it on my back and on my belly. And then then I was like, I'll try to go to bed now. And, eventually I fell asleep at like 5 a.m.
Damn. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, well, it's a good place to start questioning, like, what am I holding on to,
Yeah.
or what is going on? And there's so many factors
Mhm.
too, especially with menstruation, and obviously it's like there's hormonal things and there's environmental things and
Mhm.
there's like foods that can trigger certain things. And so, but a lot of times it's like there's an emotional connection to everything
Mhm.
that's happening to us, in my opinion. And so
Right.
that's a good question to ask yourself. I think
Yeah.
more people need to be asking those sorts of